The garden is so pretty in this house, but it's a pity about these ugly garage doors, which really spoil it. That's really what you see as the focus of these garage doors. But the garden is totally delightful. I guess the view coming down the street will sort of, you can see it more if you don't approach it from this end. And there's ghastly spotlights between the garage doors make it worse.
Well, the color is a little interesting.
Beautiful Victorian house. You can see it has high ceilings and wonderful details. It's a little run down a bit actually, but that's quite charming. The plantings are wonderful in material. The little granite posts by the front steps are so charming, as well as the paving stone for the front porch. It's now showed again in the baskets, it's porch. It's got a lovely charm feel. Unfortunately, if you look to the right, you'll see a construction site that's just about to be built up between the existing house we looked at, as well as another little floating brick house. The house will be tasteful.
I like the detail, the fans, the Victorian fans above on the third floor are excellent.
This Dutch colonial house has been so sort of exaggerated that the sort of side view of the house is almost as strong as the front of a house. I'm 99% sure that it was Robert Venturi who did a very modern version of this, which was kind of a precursor to the postmodernist period, where the side view or the sort of gable end of the house was totally emphasized. I seem to remember it was a house for his mother, and it was very much this sort of flat facade that was so interesting with these punctuations. It's terrific. The side view of this house is actually also very interesting, or the front I should say. When you walk around the side you can see that too. Stone chimney that's very, very rough, this rotunda, this rounded bayed area, the Dutch side. I mean, it sounds like on steroids, but it's so demanding. Also, you can see by you can see that it actually needs a lot of work, and there's a satellite dish attached to it, there's a hose attached to the front, it hasn't been restored, and I'm sure there's some wonderful, wonderful old details that haven't been touched. Hopefully the next person who gets their hands on this house will fix it up and restore it, maintaining a lot of that. Dutch colonial style house with its overhanging roof, which is very sort of Salem style, combining these two periods is just wonderful. I must say, one thing I would have liked would have been to have a wooden shingle roof. It's a pity that they didn't do that and have those asphalt shingles. The glass little front porch is wonderful. And actually the fence is very unusual and interesting. These squares on top of these spindles, which is on top of this old stone wall. Just a little bit more planting, I think, would make it look quite wonderful. Next door, of course, is this fantastic, fantastic house. This house is totally gorgeous. These columns are so exaggerated and so strong. Totally rustic with the stone mixed with the brick as if it's like from a ruin. In fact, Frank Lloyd Wright had a whole thing with his one house, the one of the Taliesin's that he built, where he said, imagine the house if it's burnt down, which I think it did actually, or if it's ruined after thousands of years, one would just find these things standing. He designed his house bearing that in mind. This house actually speaks of that as well, the sort of charm of a sort of cottage with these giant, giant posts. And it's so truly, such a truly American vernacular. The overgrown foliage is just wonderful. I'm absolutely crazy about this house. It's old, it's slightly run down. It's just this aging dowager. The plantings, the ferns, the funny things hanging from the porch. It's just such a lovely, charming house, full of memories. Some of the architectural details, like the arched window, is heaven above the door, beautifully shaped. It cost a fortune to do that. Little triangular windows in the eaves upstairs. Oh, it's just heaven. It just can't be copied. The whimsy, the quirkiness, the sense of humor, the wit. It's just charming. Just charming. What a wonderful setting we're in. I think it's the hill that, or the elevation and the topography that it adds so much to a landscape, and not to mention the giant rock we just saw, and of course the gorgeous, gorgeous flowers and plantings, and the old house. There's such a wonderful juxtaposition between the construction, the detail in the construction, all the woodwork, the fencing, the plantings, the tall trees, the small trees, the bushes, the shrubs, the dark brown leaves, the almost red brown leaves, the white leaves, the shapes, the colors. There's just so much detail. We can absorb so much of it. It's totally wonderful.
Talk about a great example of curb appeal. I mean, it's charming. This is the side of one of the houses we looked at. It's amazing. These Victorian houses go on forever. Look at all the windows. Look at all the sunny rooms. Look at the side porches, the back porches. It's quite incredible. Detail after detail after detail, room after room after room. It's massive. The turrets, the towers, the workmanship, the craftsmanship, it's all quite incredible. Okay, so they were the McMansions of their days, but there were these big Victorian families. That was the norm. And now they're gracious, rambling family houses. Charming details.